This show is brought to you by Loud and Opinionated.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Puck Drops Here, the show that proves that playoff hockey makes no sense at all.
I suppose.
It really was. It's wild. Last night's games. We're recording this May 8th on a Wednesday. It'll go up on Thursday, so it'll go up before those Thursday games, so you don't have to worry about us.
Well, there's just
being on time.
the one game.
Right, the one game on Thursday.
Yeah.
So yeah, before we get anywhere with that, we talked about it last week. How was your trip to Colorado to see the Avalanche?
It was absolutely awesome. Probably my second favorite sporting event I've ever been to outside. Only thing it beats it was the Stadium Series in Pittsburgh in 2017. The atmosphere inside there for a playoff game is absolutely nuts. Like there's no other way to put it. It was freaking nuts. Just it was crazy inside there.
Yeah, based on what I saw from your Instagram story, all the like antics behind it, it looked like the most fun you could have at a hockey game. Like
Yeah.
it was, the atmosphere, like you were saying, looked like it was just out of this world.
Yeah, it was absolutely awesome. We were walking in and we happened to see a guy that was dressed up in a Cody Eakin Las Vegas Golden Knights jersey, walking with a guy dressed up as a linesman. So like he was like being held captive by the ref because of like, and then we looked and they were sitting on the glass behind the goal. So it was just like they were on TV the entire time too.
I saw a post something like that. It was a Vegas fan, and he said he was rooting for Colorado, and he's like, "Do it for us," kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty funny. And they won too. So
yeah, Grubauer stood on his head in that game. Got a shutout 3-0. It was also really cool to finally be able to see like Brent Burns and Erik Karlsson play up close. Like that, the speed of the game doesn't translate to TV. If you see it live, it is something else, man. It really
Right.
is.
And it's even that way with like USHL games and AHL games. The game, yeah, is just so much faster.
Yeah, it's nuts. And it's crazy because like I go to USHL games all the time here in Omaha, and the speed is so much. You can tell the difference so easily. It's just crazy how much faster an NHL game is. Like, holy crap.
So, anything memorable while you're at the game? Anything happened to you? You didn't get any fights or anything?
No fights. There was a couple Sharks fans behind us that were giving a bunch of the Colorado fans some shit, but other than that, nothing crazy. Just in general, just the experience was awesome. Like before the game, like the pregame, like I didn't really have a dog in the fight. I was cheering for the Avalanche, but like because they're the team that I picked, so I was like, oh, cheer for the Avalanche. But like don't really have a dog in the fight, and like I'm still getting like goosebumps watching the opening sequence and like the light show they put on the ice and everything else. Like I couldn't have asked for better for the seats we got and for what we paid for our seats. So
yeah, you actually look like you had a really good spot. So
yeah, we were 5 rows up right on the blue line, so it was awesome.
well, I'm glad you had fun. I wish I could say I've had that experience. That's an awesome thing to have over me, is to be like, hey, man, I went to a playoff hockey game and the team I wanted to win won. So,
yeah, I would suggest that to everybody. Go to a game, a playoff game. It doesn't matter if it's your team or not. The atmosphere inside is just nuts. So
the best chance I could have, if say it were the Lightning, the best chance I could have is if they played St. Louis and
or Chicago
or Chicago, I guess, for the actual. But yeah, for the cup, it would never be an Eastern team. So.
Yeah, we're all the Western Conference teams around us. So
yeah. I gotta ask, because keep in mind, I've only been following hockey for about 7-ish years.
Yeah.
What was the excuse me? What was the jersey? Who was that?
Which for the jersey that I wore to the game or what?
Yeah, the jersey that you wore.
Oh, I wore a Ian Cole jersey. He was a former Penguin, and
Yeah,
that's Colorado's alternate jersey.
traitor.
Whatever.
I I've never look. I understand the mentality of like, hey, he was still a great player for us. I still like him. It's just business. I will never wear a jersey of a former player at another team. Never gonna do it.
I don't care. I was with buddies, and I bought the jersey to go to Avs games with my old significant other, but that is not a thing at this point. So yeah, I still have the jersey, I guess.
Yeah. I don't even know. I mean, I could see like there's times when I thought about buying jerseys for like Husker players.
Yeah,
Like but I would never buy a Burkhead Patriots jersey. That's where I
absolutely
draw
not.
the line.
I would just rather burn that.
I mean, I'm glad he got a ring, but yeah, I don't care.
I'd have been
No
happier
Patriots.
with the Rams.
But we're not talking about football. We're talking about hockey. Speaking of the Avalanche, we got a game 7 on our hands Thursday night.
Big game 7. If you didn't get to, it was an absolutely phenomenal game to watch on Monday between the Sharks and Avs. Overtime, Landeskog, Potts won off of, did everything on the play. Chased it, dumped it in, chased it, got the hit on Carlson, knocks his helmet off, and then goes to the front of the net after the puck's hit out, goes out to the point, and he picks up the pass and just kind of chips it right over the blocker side. It kind of went off the blocker and into the net, but an amazing finish for him. So
Yeah.
get a lot of momentum. They got to go to San Jose though tonight. So
This series, we talked about the West and we talked about how it doesn't seem as physical as the East. This series has been pretty physical, and I'm really rooting for Colorado because it's a similar thing where it's been a long time since they've won a cup,
yeah.
and they're the underdogs. I mean, we almost saw it with the Blue Jackets too, but can't say I miss those guys.
Yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about that.
Yeah,
But no, yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how they're doing it, kind of as the little guys, somewhat, and coming through and battling against this. What's a fun little fact that they have is the last time the Avalanche made it to the Western Conference Finals, they beat the Sharks in a Game 7 in 2002.
and that's the thing too. I think that game 6 was won because of home ice. I think the Avalanche have a big advantage on home ice, just from what I've seen from your experience. Like, you can clearly tell that they are behind this team and they have a very strong home ice advantage. So if they can win here, I think they could make it to the cup.
Yeah, I agree completely. It's you definitely feed off of your home arena a lot, and they've proven that. Now each team has won one game away so far, so it'll be interesting to see how this tonight plays out. I mean, one thing, the way that goal goes in, it's almost a demoralizing goal to a point. Like you're going now into Game 7, and you almost have to look. The thing is Martin Jones has played in an absolutely different style and play of hockey than he did in that first series. He's got like a 9.30 save percentage or something like that right now for this series, which is almost 100 points better than what he had in the Vegas series. So it's going to be interesting to see how this game plays out tonight.
Yeah, I don't really know what to think of it, because it is that scenario where you look at San Jose. They have experience. They've been to a cup in the last few years. They've made deep playoff runs. And then you look at Colorado, who's this scrappy underdog that's hasn't seen the cup since 2002, I think was the last one. And it's an almost perfect game 7 matchup.
Oh yeah.
And I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be amazing. Now it's got a lot to live up to because the Stars Blues game 7 was absolute insanity. And I feel for Ben Bishop, former Lightning player. I really feel for him because he had a phenomenal game. And you want to talk about puck luck. That was the worst puck luck you could have. Off the top shelf, off his back. That's just insane. Like, oh man, I felt so bad for him.
Yeah, he was an absolute brick wall in that game too. The Sharks, or not the Sharks, the Stars went like 35 minutes without getting a shot on goal. Like that, I think the second and third period they got outshot 31-5 or 4. Like,
Yeah,
you can't win hockey games doing that. Like,
I think he had like 51 saves in that game. Like it was, I could not believe that number.
And
oh, go ahead.
no, so I was to say, and the one goal that he gave up outside of the game winner to Vince Dunn was actually a fucking really good shot by him. He just got screened and it went right over his right shoulder. So
yeah, it just, there was a game that it was almost like the hockey gods were like, okay, somebody's got to win this game. Somebody has to advance.
And when you get into a double over OT game like that, you always end up seeing something stupid end up going in. Like, I tried to, like, what was it, 17 when 17 when Pittsburgh played Ottawa in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. A knuckler, like literally, Chris Kunitz didn't even get all of the puck at the top of the slot, and just it like was like the knuckle puck on D3 or D2 Mighty Ducks that like it just barely made it through. But those are the ones that end up making it. And that's how you score and you win in those games. And it's kind of, it's almost just, it just sucks to see some of those ones go in for some of these teams. So,
well, especially when you have these goalies just playing out of their minds. Like, I've seen all over Facebook and Twitter, and I agree with it. It was Ben Bishop deserves better.
Yeah. They needed to score another goal. Bennington was just not letting any of the very few shots that the Stars had in. So,
yeah, it's like we said, when you're playing in your own zone for, at that point, 4 periods, if you count both overtimes, you can't expect to win. One of them's going to go.
Yeah, totally.
And it's just unfortunate. A phenomenal performance. And now Ben Bishop is a player I would probably buy merch from because.
Oh, now he's backing track.
I got to backtrack. I have nothing.
He's going to have a Ben Bishop Dallas Stars jersey on for the next show.
I don't even have a Lightning jersey. You really?
I know. What's wrong with you? DHgate, bud. Come on, go get the Chinese version. It's like $30.
I was gonna say the hockey jerseys are expensive.
They are.
I want to get the new black variants that they
that thing is so ugly.
I like it. I like it. It's fade to gray. I dig it.
It's almost as ugly as Pittsburgh Steelers Bumblebee uniforms they used to wear.
Yeah, those are pretty bad. I think the ugliest thing I've ever seen was the Packers throwbacks with the brown helmets.
Oh, yeah. They wore the brown helmets to make them look like they're leather.
Ugh, garbage. Yeah, so congratulations. And yeah, we are getting dangerously close despite what happens depending on what happens between the Avs and the Sharks. Both our dark horses are going to be going against each other. So something's got to give.
Yeah, well, let's hope the Avs can pull this off tonight, and then we'll have a bet of all bets for the Western Conference Finals. I have no idea what we're going to bet, but it's whatever.
I know it's going to be something where I'm going to have to wear a Penguins shirt or something, and I'm going to just be pissed off for a while.
I mean, I've got like 20 jerseys to choose from. You can just choose one.
But I don't have any. I have a Lightning shirt and I wear a hat. But you don't have any animosity to the Lightning because you won.
I know. And I think I've responded with this every single time to you when you bring it up. Is that rust is bad for bolts.
Yeah. Hey, that's the thing that could be the advantage for the Avalanche is the Blues have an extra day of rest. So maybe that could factor into the game if they play each other. So
yeah, we'll see.
Could. What there was something that happened. Another game. I'm just kidding. The Blue Jackets. Justice served. They lost. Not happy they lost to the Bruins, but I'll take it. Yeah, I'm still bitter. So I'm glad the Blue Jackets lost.
I was actually shocked that they kind of got shut out and ran through in that game 6.
Yeah.
Keynote Brad Marchand still a douchebag, still a total douchebag. His new antics now. He's pissed that a bunch of the media were making fun of him for his punch to the back of the head that he had, and because of that, he's literally just giving them like one-word answers and not talking to anybody in the media now.
Yeah, it's like, come on. Why? He seems like one of those guys that is like, and I think we talked about this last week, where he's like, I already have a target on my back. Might as well just make it bigger and bigger and bigger because people are going to hate me anyway. So I'm going to play this pariah type character. It's dumb. Like,
completely agree. Completely agree. He's just a freaking weirdo, man. Like, I don't get it. I don't get him. Like, why are you trying to take this out now again on the media because they didn't approve or they gave you shit about what you did? Like, you did something dumb and you punched it in the back of the head and you got away with it. Like, I suppose that's not entirely bad, but like, you got away with it and you got crap in the media for it. There's no need for you to, in your interview, and they ask you about what's going on, go, we're good. I don't know. Huh? Like, that's what he did. And that's terrible. You can't do that. Like,
it's like what Marshawn did, Marshawn Lynch, but
oh yeah, except for he didn't say that out loud. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Well, yeah, but Marshawn Lynch is actually likable, so
this is also true. Marshawn's just a friggin' douchebag. So
I was shocked as well. I did not see the Bruins shutting them out. I did see the Bruins winning that series, but to just come out and play as flat as they did, it's surprising. Very, very surprising.
I agree.
I saw after. Did you see the press conference for the Blue Jackets coach? His name is slipping my mind.
Oh, Tortorella.
He made me laugh because he had the response I think any coach would have to this question. Because before the press guy even got it out, where he was going to say like, well, you've gone the farthest you've ever gone in your franchise. That's got to mean something, like a moral victory. And like before he could even say that, he's just like, I'm not going to answer those questions. And I would agree with that. It's like, dude, our team just got shut out. We got taken out of the playoffs. It doesn't matter that we got further than we've ever been before.
Yeah.
It's like those kind of questions are so dumb. And his response was great. I love that he was feisty about it because it's like, dude, come on.
He's always a feisty guy. It's just his MO and that what he's always been like. I mean, he tried to fight a coach on the bench one time, and then he also had to be restrained from going into the locker room in Calgary because he tried to go to the locker room to fight a player. Like he's quite out there, but I get him and what he was coming off with and what he said. It makes sense. You don't want to talk about how, we went the furthest we ever been. Yeah, nobody cares that you went the furthest you ever been. You just lost. So
That's like getting dumped by your girlfriend, and then your friends are being like, "Well, you got engaged. You've never done that before. That's the farthest you've ever been." It's like, dude, why would that matter?
You still lost. What?
You still dumped me, you idiot. It's exactly what it is.
That's exactly how that would go too. I feel like that's how he would respond if that was a thing that happened. So.
Right. It's yeah. So as a fan that watched your team make history, and he led Tampa to the Stanley Cup, so he's okay with me.
Meh.
But but he's a I didn't know this, but yeah, the Blue Jackets were the first team in NHL history to sweep a President's Trophy winner.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Tampa Bay making records.
On the wrong side.
In the worst possible way. So yes, the Bruins advance, and I don't know. I think I'm more invested in the Western Conference Finals than I am the Eastern Conference Finals.
I feel the same way right
Which
now.
is funny because we both have Eastern teams, which is weird.
I just hate the Bruins, so I'm really honestly hoping that the Canes pull this off, but it's going to be a tough task for them. So
let's talk about that too, because again, this has like been the underdog season for the Stanley Cup playoffs. We've got Colorado with a chance to advance to the finals. We have the Hurricanes doing the unthinkable, beating the Caps, and then just annihilating the Islanders.
Yeah, they just they figured out the defensive core and how to get shots through the middle instead, and they just split the defenders and they absolutely demolished the Islanders, huh?
Yeah, I was shocked. One of the video game guys that I follow, Colin Moriarty, he made a tweet about this. He said the Penguins ran into I think he said something like a buzzsaw that was the Islanders, and then the Islanders ran into an attack helicopter that was the Hurricanes, as is the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think that summed it up.
Oh, it totally does.
It doesn't make. I said that last week. I could name every episode this. The playoffs don't make sense.
They've never
None
made
of
sense. They've never made sense. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's what's so fun about it. That's why we talk about it as being the best postseason in sports, because it truly is.
Yeah.
You never know.
I agree completely. Yeah, I was absolutely shocked at that. The fact that the Islanders were swept also. I think that was the first time a team's ever swept a team in the first round and then got swept the next round. Like it usually doesn't happen.
I feel like that's unheard of. I think you might be right. You might be onto something. Yeah, but just on paper, to me, even if the Sharks win, Sharks Blues or Blues Avs is sexier than Bruins Canes, because unless you're from Boston, everybody's rooting for the Hurricanes in this scenario.
Effectively, yeah. It's just kind of like the Patriots.
Yeah, it's like
I'm just cheering against Boston mostly because Brad Marchand's a douche. I just hate that guy.
It would be beautiful if the Hurricanes swept them. That would be
amazing.
I'll even take 5 games.
Yeah. Just get it over as quick as possible.
Yeah. As long as it's just like a beat down like they did against the Islanders, I'm all for it.
Well, at least the Islanders games still were kind of like interesting, and then till the end.
Yeah.
Then they just kind of walked away with it, but you know.
And that's the thing. It's just like this Stars Blue series. I almost, I said it has to end, but it was almost like this series will never end, and I'm totally okay with it because it was such a great series. I haven't, unless, you think about the Hurricanes and the Caps, I didn't really feel that in the Eastern Conference. I've only felt that from the Western Conference.
Yeah, I get it. I just feel like the Eastern Conference has been so like disheveled this year that it's just like, what the heck? Because like, man, it was far and away. It looked like, you know, Tampa was gonna walk away with the Eastern Conference, and
Yeah.
they get dropped in the first round. And like, I know that Calgary being the first number one seed getting knocked out by Colorado seems like a big thing, but they played each other pretty sound all year. And honestly, Calgary was not. I felt like Calgary had a good run that kept them up there in the standings. I didn't think that they were really a true number one. It felt like.
It could be bias, but I definitely think the Lightning losing to the Jackets was more surprising than Colorado beating Calgary.
Oh, absolutely. Because there's plenty of analysts that actually had Colorado winning that series. So
Yeah.
that nobody had Columbus winning against Tampa.
Dude,
61%. Okay, so they do the playoff, like they do the bracket challenge.
Yeah.
61% of people chose the fucking Lightning. That's why they did a second chance bracket, because they're like, fuck.
Yeah. Everybody had the Lightning in the cup, and
and that didn't work.
I'm not gonna go like full homer about this, but and we've kind of touched on it. There's does need to be something done because Tampa is too good to lose game sevens, get swept like they did. And they didn't just get none of those games were close except for game one. They got their asses kicked.
Correct.
And something, I don't think you need to fire John Cooper, but something definitely needs to change.
They'll figure it out. They'll get something doing. I think they just need to change up the defensive core a little bit, get some more defensive defensemen so that they can play hockey.
All right, the one game that will be played, we've talked about it. Who you got? Now, take away the fact that they're your dark horse pick. And
okay.
honestly, give me a prediction here. Who's going to win?
I think it's going to be a tight game, and this ends up being a 2-1 game. It's going to be low scoring. There's going to be big hits and like real tight hockey. So I honestly think that with the speed that they have, I think Colorado does pull it out 2-1. I think they end up winning it in. I don't believe this one's going to go to OT. I think it's going to be a late third period goal that Colorado scores and gets ahead and takes the series.
I will agree with you. I think Colorado's going to win, but I feel like it's going to be another higher scoring game. I think it's going to be in like 4-3.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like the last game.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's going to be in overtime, but I definitely know it's going to be 4-3. I feel like there's just these teams play at such a pace that to me it's hard not to imagine them scoring a lot of goals. But as you said, these goalies are playing very well too. So
we'll see
what happens.
Martin Jones has been nuts, and Grubauer has been just as good on the other end of the ice. So yeah, I just think it's going to be. There are going to be very few chances taken on either side. I just think the speed that Colorado gets is going to catch San Jose twice in this game, and they'll be able to capitalize.
All right, so game one, Eastern Conference Final. It's the Bruins. It's the Hurricanes. Now, we both are probably going to take the Hurricanes here, right?
Well, I mean, that's who I want to win.
But you think Boston's going to win?
I think Boston ends up taking this series, yes. I think it's going to be a 7-game series, but I think Boston just actually has the firepower to take it out. Plus, you got to look at it. Carolina backup goalie, Curtis McElhaney's been good, but I don't think he's been that good, and I don't know that that's going to be what gets you into a Stanley Cup final.
Well, normally I would agree with you, but these playoffs have been all over the place. So
That's true.
I think the Hurricanes steal one, and I don't think it's this game though. I think they lose game one, close game, but I think it's enough to give them confidence, and they steal one in Boston and tie up the series. But yeah, I think game one is going to go to the Bruins as well. I don't know score wise.
Yeah, it's hard to say just because Boston has gone through like just valleys and mountains and just trying to figure out how there's some times where they're scoring 5, there's some where they score 1. Like it's just they haven't been consistent so far in these playoffs at all.
Yeah. And who knows? Maybe the Hurricanes come out and play like they did against the Islanders and just dominate. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know
It's
with these playoffs.
yeah, especially with these. But yeah, I just think Boston has the advantage. If you want to talk about home ice advantage, I think it goes to Boston. And it's going to be hard for Carolina to win in Boston. It really is.
I agree.
So I guess we agree on everything.
Yeah,
so there's no
surprisingly.
disputes.
Not the greatest for the podcast, but I guess it's not bad.
I was gonna pick against you to be interesting, but then I was like, I just don't see it yet.
Nah, I can't do that.
Can't do it. I gotta be honest.
Gotta go from the heart.
So this is exciting times. We're in the nitty gritty. We're about to crown champions. It's exciting.
Yes.
If they get to a Western Conference final, I would like to say you could go to Denver again. Probably not going to happen. But
I actually was thinking about doing it already. So if it happens, I probably will.
Oh man, if I had the money, I'd go with you. Absolutely, that'd be amazing. But I hope Colorado wins. I really do. I love parody. I love chaos. I'm all for it. This has been another episode of The Puck Drops here. We'll be back next week talking about the conference finals. Hopefully it's Colorado taking on the Blues, and who really cares about the Bruins and the Hurricanes? I'm pulling for the underdog in every scenario. So
same here. I think it'd be cool to see the wild cards make it through. So
yes, it perfect ending to this postseason. It really would be.
Yeah.
You can like Loud and Opinionated on Facebook, Loud and Opinionated. You can follow us on Twitter at Loud Opinionated. You can also follow Loud Sports at Loud Sports Pod. That's where you'll get the main show and all this other stuff. Brent, I'm excited. Like I said, it's coming to a head. It's coming.
Yes, it is.
It's like Game of Thrones. We're in the end, or the Avengers. We're in the end game.
I was gonna say, I don't know anything about Game of Thrones.
That's why I changed it mid-sentence. You'll know when I make a Star Wars. Good Lord. My brain
You're all over the place today,
all over the place. Just get out of the podcast, Jake. Anyway, we'll see you next week. And thanks for watching and listening. Goodbye, guys.